Now, my guest is working with Conservatives for Lower Care Costs, which is conservatives-for-lower-care-costs.com. He is a Republican strategist and advisor. He worked with the first Trump administration after he got elected to ensure a smooth, successful cabinet appointment process. He was Deputy Communications Director for Trump-Pence presidential campaign, where he helped craft strategy. Also played a role in my campaign for president. Please welcome partner in Mercury's Washington, D.C. office, Bryan Lanza.
Larry, how are you?
I'm well, Bryan. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm here on the West Coast. I'm currently in Las Vegas, so I'm almost in L.A., but not there yet.
Bryan, give me your report card for the first couple of months of the Trump administration.
Yeah, I have to say it's an A, right? It's an A on messaging. You see President Trump and the team and the rest of us were on offense and delivering a message that the American people want to hear. I think it's an A on policy because these are Republican policies that we fought for a generation, and for whatever reasons, we sort of milk toasted along the way. And President Trump and these assassins that he has there, executing at a high level, are executing long-term, Republican policies. And then politically, it's an A as well. It's obviously the left is always going to be engaged, but the coalition feels like President Trump is delivering. It's actually continuing to grow. You can see it in voter registration numbers. And then finally, the most important thing that matters is it's funny to say, but gas and eggs, the prices are 25% lower today than when he first took office. So I have to give it an A+. Yeah, I would say an A. A+ means perfection. We haven't, not all things have been smooth,
right,
but I think we've delivered on things we've promised.
Now, you're working with Conservatives for Lower Care Costs, and the website is pharmawindfall.com. I want you, Bryan, to listen to what Bernie Sanders just now said he's doing with AOC, number 6.
Everybody knows that the current healthcare system is broken, is dysfunctional. Everybody knows that the function of the system today is to make huge profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies. And everybody knows there is something wrong when we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. So Alexandria and I and others are going to work with you to finally do what should have been done decades ago, pass a Medicare for all single-payer program.
At least he's honest, Bryan.
He always has been, right? And you're seeing more and more of that for the left. They feel emboldened by their positions, and they're not hiding it anymore. I mean, Larry, I remember when I started working in politics in the late '90s, we'd run campaigns and we'd say the word liberal, and that was usually the death kill with independent voters, and Democratic candidates ran away from the word liberal. Now they're embracing a more radical term, progressive. And so, yeah, they're not hiding it. They think their window is now. They think post-2008, the economic shakeup has sort of transformed the landscape, where you have, redistribution of wealth and a few people making the strongest contribution. That's what they believe. That's what they've always believed, but they're just not hiding it anymore. And we have to be ready to fight at every corner because that is not who we are as a country.
Now, what is Conservatives for Lower Care Costs doing about it?
We're helping President Trump keep his promise when he said, I'm going to fight the pharmaceutical companies from price gouging, which is what we've seen. There's one thing we've seen consistent where Republicans and Democrats sort of get aligned in Washington, D.C., and that's, in being fed the deep pockets of the pharmaceutical companies. For far too long, prior to President Trump coming, the Republican Party was very much just a rubber stamp for pharmaceuticals. President Trump saw an issue there. He sort of transformed the issue within the Republican Party. He's speaking about it in a way that you've never had, a Republican leader talk about it, and he's moving the party in that direction. And that is, holding Big Pharma accountable. It's not about their profits. It's about each individual family's health. And there's a reason that Pharma spends a lot of money in Washington to rig the rules and to rig the system. It's not for Americans' health. It's for profits.
I'm talking to Bryan Lanza. He's a partner in Mercury's Washington, D.C. office, where he specializes in public affairs and media strategy. He's with conservatives-for-lower-care-costs.com. www.pharmawindfall.com is the website. What is Bryan, PB as in boy, M, and why are drug companies lobbying Congress to pass policies that undermine PBMs?
Yeah, I think PBMs, if you look at it from employers, is accountability, right? You have small employers would never have the situation to compete, negotiate, and sort of secure good deals, against these big pharmaceutical companies. So the PBM is your knight, on your side. He is your chess piece. He's fighting for you, the small business owner, who wants to negotiate good prices for their employees, who wants to find the best drugs available for their employees, and who believes in taking care of their employees. And so what PBMs do is they pull, all these other small companies together to put themselves in a stronger negotiating position against Big Pharma, against the institutional pharma, Washington structure, and return some of that money and those refunds back to the consumer and to the customer. So I think the best the way to describe PBMs is they are, with respect to they're the tip of the spear, fighting to keep costs down for individual pharmaceutical costs.
Talk to us about RFK's agenda, RFK Jr.'s agenda to make America healthy again. He, of course, is the Secretary of HHS.
He hit a nerve, right? You know this. You know him. You've got a chance to. You're a Californian.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the eastern Los Angeles for a very long time. So, this isn't a new issue for him. And he's, some things he's right, and some things, we're going to stress test at the end of the day. He appeared to be right about, the food. I mean, Larry, I spend a lot of time in Europe. I spend a lot of time in Asia. And I got to tell you, their food just, it is healthier. If I spend a week in Europe, their food is definitely better than eating the food here. You see processed foods, it has become a sixth chain. It's ultimately people's personal choices, but there's a cost associated with those personal choices, and that cost ultimately gets pushed onto the taxpayer. So I think, RFK is transforming how Republican administration looks at health. They now look at preventative health in more of a cost savings way. They look at the processed foods in a way where there is a cost burden there, and is it fair for the in the long run the taxpayers to cover that cost burden with respect to health care, or should we do some of the things that Europe and Asia and even Latin America are doing to put the general public in a better health foot? And I think that's what JFK or RFK more than anything else. He's brought awareness to this issue, and he's on fire. He's holding people accountable. You're seeing industry shift positions without needing to have any regulatory push. They're doing it because they know this is where the momentum is moving. Conservatives-for-lower-care-costs.com, pharmawindfall.com. My guest has been Bryan Lanza. I need a one word. Will Donald Trump touch Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security for people who are currently on them? No, just as he promised nearly 8 years ago, he's not going to touch that or Social Security. Thanks, Bryan. God bless.